Load today to go get 65 matches.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fiscal Court. Hope everybody's had a great 4th of July weekend. Before we start, I'm going to ask Chris to open us up in a word of prayer.
Lord, thank you for this day and thank you for allowing us to come and conduct the business of the Logan County Court and just to be with us as we make these decisions and give us wisdom and guidance. Lord, thank you for all of our workers and all of those that serve the community and our law enforcement and all of our staff, Lord, just to comfort them and bless them and just thank you for what they do. Lord, be with our community. Help us always to be mindful about what you would have us to do and be a light in this world. And Lord, just thank you for forgiving our sins and all these things. I ask your name. Amen.
Amen. All right, let's open up court by saying a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone, for showing up today. First off, I need approval of minutes.
Motion to approve minutes as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcox,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next up is we need to amend the agenda to add approval of resolution authorizing Judge Baker to sign the financial documentation needed for the Russellville Logan County Airport Board to secure financing for the new hangar as item number 7, and also we need to amend to the agenda to add Kids on the Block to address the courts.
So moved.
Have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Jason.
They're gonna do that after.
Right now.
Oh, okay.
We'll just go ahead and call up and get it over with.
7 and 8.
After we approve.
If no other discussion, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcox,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. So that brings us up to Kids on the Block. Please come up and address the court.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Missy Carini. I am the grant professional for Kids on the Block. This is Amanda Guerra.
Hello.
She is one of our puppeteers as well as our program director. We are here today to tell you a little bit about our programs and let you know what we've been doing in Logan County, and then at the same time to ask for a little bit of support so that we can do more. So I'm going to let Amanda tell you a little bit about our programs.
Yeah, so for those of you who may not be familiar with Kids on the Block, we are an educational puppet troupe. So we go into schools and we use child-sized puppets. This is just one of our 22 different characters. Each puppet has its own thing that it's struggling with, whether it be mental health, whether they're being bullied. We've got child abuse prevention programs. We just started a new cyberbullying program. We've got 15 different topics. We've got accepting differences. Different puppets may have a different disability. We've got an autism program. So we cover a wide range of things that children may be going through that maybe the school curriculum may not touch on, or they may use our programs if they have to touch on certain things to feel that at their school. So we have 15 different topics. We do go into most of the local schools here. I mean, we go into all of them when we have funding to do so. So we do, and there's also the Christian Academy. They want us to come every year too here to Logan County. So we present programs using the puppets. Our programs have question and answer parts where kids can ask the puppets questions. For example, with the child abuse program, maybe a child is afraid to ask an adult a question because maybe they were abused by an adult and adults are scary to them. They see our puppets as peers like them because our puppets range in age from 10 to 17. So they see them as kids that have been through the same thing that they've been through, so they feel more comfortable opening up and talking to the puppet versus asking a grown-up the question, or just hearing a grown-up, lecture them about the same thing that they keep lecturing them about. But the puppets bring the message to the kids in an entertaining way, and when there's, entertainment and humor involved with our programs, it helps kids retain the message easier than just someone standing and talking to them about it. So that's just a little bit about our programs.
So coming up for this school year, we have a grant from the Carpenter Foundation that we have 20 programs left to do on. And obviously we're requesting money for the following year for them as well. But we'd like to provide 2 additional programs for the Logan County Russellville community, either through your library or any, Boys and Girls Clubs, those types of things, any community events as well. Each program costs $450, and then the mileage we would cover. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you work with BRACAC, Barren River Child Advocacy? Because we do sponsor them.
We don't get any funding
From
through
the-
them
right.
for the program.
No, I didn't.
Meaning, can we
expect you
get to do a
To
program?
do programs with them, is that
No,
what you're
because
asking?
this is their focus.
Okay.
Right.
They do a lot of this.
Correct.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, we don't currently.
We don't, but with this funding, we absolutely could.
Yeah. I know we've done things with extension centers before, with, the children they're serving, so that's an option as well. But, if BRACAC has, kids that they're serving and they want our programs, maybe they're talking to the kids about certain things and we could provide our programs for them,
Right.
at their meetings.
Right.
Well, they just called last night and asked if I would request more for them. So I'm sitting here thinking, that seems like it's more for the same thing.
Yeah, and our programs are tailored toward children that are 6th grade and younger. So we have different topics that, are appropriate for different age levels of kids.
Okay, I am going to call them tonight
Excellent.
and pass this on to them. Surely they have something
Right.
about you all in their literature.
Okay.
But I appreciate your coming. That's a really good thing. And it's $450 per program.
Correct.
Yeah, and
not
our
too-
programs are between 30 to 45 minutes long, depending on what topic and the age of the children.
Just out of curiosity, do you all, track cases that result from these
So,
programs?
yes, so our child abuse programs, we track completely. We're currently working from a grant for child victims
Trust fund.
trust fund, and so everything's documented. And currently, this year,
We had 43 this past year so far.
When you say this past
43
year,
cases that
43
resulted from your
Di-
program?
No,
disclosures.
we don't, as far as going to the courts and all, we don't do that, but we follow back up with the schools or location each month after our programs. If we've had a child abuse program there, we'll follow back up. We'll talk to the counselor or whoever it was scheduled and ask, did you all have any children that disclosed and you feel it was a result of our program? So they'll tell us how many, so we know how many, but as far, it's confidential.
Right.
They can't tell us, oh, this kid had this exact thing happen. They can tell us, if they had any disclosures. So we do track the number
at
of
the same-
disclosures
at-
that we know about.
And at the same time, the kids, after our programs, they write letters or drawings or both to us, and through those that the school will send us after they've done them, the schools have checked them, and then we reread them, and then there are times when we find the kids have disclosed something through those letters and drawings, and at that point, we contact back the school so that they can follow through, because part of it is for us, we go in, we do our programs, we leave.
You stimulate the discussion.
We stimulate the discussion,
and then-
right, and things, the kids are really interesting. They will actually talk to the puppets. So like when when they do their question and answers, the kids will raise their hands to answer, and the strangest things that you wouldn't expect a kid to say in a room full of 200 of their friends, right? Their hands go up and these things come out, and you're like, ooh, okay. And the counselors and/or the teachers or other staff from the school are always in our programs when we're doing them, so they know which kid said something. Now, the puppeteers have even reported that there are kids that have come up to them after the program, you know, and she's still standing there holding a puppet, you know, has come out from behind, and the kids are lining up or whatever, and they'll walk over to the puppet to have a conversation. They've actually invited the puppets to their birthday parties. So, you know, when we say, you know, it's interesting as adults, I don't know, sometimes I think the puppets are a little creepy, and
Oh, come on, Missy.
and this is what she does to me. I walk in and they're practicing, and the puppet will, to ask her a question, and the puppet will start talking to me. So obviously there's a reaction to that. But nonetheless, the kids would rather talk to these puppets than they do to us. And as parents, I know that. And, you know, any of you that work with kids in any realm or have your own, you know that sometimes you can hear them talking to the TV set on a show that they're watching or playing with their toys, and they're having this whole conversation. Well, it's the same thing with the puppets. So we've found that the puppets are this amazing mechanism to communicate to kids and help them communicate the things that they're going through. And so kind of why we're here, we just want to give more, you know.
Okay, you present this, but the school's responsible for the response.
The response,
what I'm hearing.
are you saying the response, like if there's a
If the
disclosure
child
or?
discloses, it's your
Yes.
point.
Correct.
Or discloses.
Right.
Correct.
If the child discloses, the school is then, not you all, the school
Right.
is then
Right.
responsible for following through with
Yes.
guidance, counseling, and
We-
any other.
Correct.
process.
Right, yeah,
They're the mandatory reporters, and they have the kids, you know, I don't know your name, so I'm going to use it as a great example. I don't know your name, but you've just said something to me. I can't do anything with that information because I don't know your name, and you're not going to tell me your name if you're worried about what you just said to me. So instead, we can look to the teachers and the counselors and say, see that kid in the blue shirt over there? He just said X to us. The teachers and the counselors are going to follow through with that, and then they are mandatory reporters. So I'm actually a retired teacher. I've been retired for about 1.5 years and went to Kids on the Block in my retirement. And so that mandatory reporting is, even if I get it as a hearsay, you know, another kid comes up to me and says, so-and-so said something on the playground, I now have to investigate that, and then with that investigation, there are people that I need to report to. And so then it goes, and then we all know sometimes it will amount to something, and sometimes it won't, and you know, sometimes there's just not enough information or evidence to follow. But we feel like when we bring it to somebody's attention on something that they may not have known, it helps get the kid the help they need. And so even if the only help they can give them is the counselor working with them, then that's a step. That's a place to go where we wouldn't have had that if we hadn't have gone into the building.
And even if a situation has already been brought to light when we go and do our program, I'd talked to one of the counselors at a school, and she said, well, we didn't have any disclosures that we know of. However, we had a child who had already been removed from the home, and before your program, the child did not have the vocabulary and didn't know how to talk about it, but now the child was able to talk about and really express what had happened. So they were able to get the full story after the child saw our program. And I know a lot of people are worried what we say about sexual abuse because we're talking to young children. We don't use the word sex or sexual. We call it inappropriate touching, and we say if anyone touches a kid on their private place, wear their bathing suit covers, because kids know what their bathing suit covers. So.
Where all do you service? What area?
The entire state of Kentucky.
All of Kentucky.
Yeah, when we have the funding to do so.
Right. So last year, we were in 45 counties.
Well, we appreciate I think what y'all are doing is great. I think, we can't educate our kids enough on the things y'all are trying to educate them for. The school districts, do have funding to kind of pay for some of these types of things. I think we don't have anything in the budget for this year, right?
No, we haven't, not in this current budget, no.
Okay,
We didn't
but-
appropriate anything.
Y'all are a little late on our budget time. But
And we kind of realized that, but we wanted to make sure, we've been coming into your schools, but that doesn't mean that you guys knew that,
Right.
per se, unless you have a child in the school who then says, oh, the puppets came today, kind of thing. And so we wanted to make sure that the fiscal court was aware of what we're trying to do in Logan County, and that way, you'll do your own research between now and the next budget cycle, and so then if the more, funds would become available, we're not something you don't know anything about and aren't aware of our
And I
impact.
would encourage you to reach out to some of the program directors at the school system and ask them if they have, there's funds that can cover this sort of thing. I know for sure, like cyberbullying is very important.
Right.
If nothing else, the PTOs at the schools might be interested in this also.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good place for us to head, so I will do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But for our Judge has it on his mind, so for our next budget cycle, definitely we consider.
Yeah, please reach out to us.
Please reach out to us.
When is your budget cycle, so that
I
I,
would reach out in January or February.
January, February is when I reach out
Perfect.
to us. okay?
Excellent.
You could,
we thank you very
y'all
much
for
for your
coming. Thank y'all
time.
for
Thank
what
you.
do.
You needed two
Thank you.
programs in Logan.
That's what we want.
$4.50 each.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. Next up on the agenda is approved bills and the supplement bill list.
Tyler, did we make a payment to the plant board? What was that on? It was the broadband project, 124 grand. It's it's the very last thing on page 10. I was just curious if it was
I haven't.
what that was.
Where they've been working on that, they turned in,
It turned into another one.
they turned in another one, we've got it reviewed by Compass Group, and it meets all of the requirements as we have set forth for their replacement.
Yeah, we have up to $1 million that we awarded them, but, yeah, so I think they already had like 128,000 or something like that, so this will make it.
So the 124,000 is what we're looking at right here.
So they're just getting more and more phases done.
Right, so I know they've been Stonewall.
They're working in Stonewall right now. They're doing a bunch of boring and such in there. I know they've got all of the 6880 headed towards Auburn. They're putting customers on now. They're moving forward with this
A
project.
lot quicker than what it was.
Yes, absolutely.
Toward Auburn, through Friendship, where are they going through? To Auburn?
They'll just go up to, on 6880, just to
Oh, Kennewick,
the
okay.
Spring Acres area. So,
Okay.
Motion to approve the bill is that?
Yeah, I did notice at the jail,
we're at which
Where are we
page?
looking at?
lots of, it just seemed like a big enough project to maybe talk about. Labor materials repair and multiple showers for 8294, 82.
There it is.
Got a lot of showers going now. But it just took a lot of work there, didn't it?
So we get all the showers working on the county side now, and as we get more issues with Fiscal combination with fixing those, we got
Gotcha.
it all fixed. So,
Okay, good. I know that was a problem.
yes.
Yeah, okay. Got it, okay.
Yeah, I made a motion.
I second the motion
I've got a motion and a second.
for the bill and something.
Is there any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next up, treasurer's report.
All right, I have a whole lot of stuff for you this morning. Okay, so first we're going to go over the quarterly report. I have the financial statement ending June 30th, 2023, as well as the finance officer's appropriation condition report, a list of outstanding encumbrances on all of the different funds, as well as our third-party project statement ending June 30, 2023, and our CFA, which is a list of the federal expenditures that we have out there. The balance in the general fund as of June 30, 2023 was $680,019.63. Road fund 111,514.25. Jail fund 57,624.88. LGEA 9,129.95. Federal Grants Fund 54.68. Solid Waste Recycling 451,551.16. Parks and Rec Fund 753,235.16. Occupational Tax 7,941,778.38. Life Skills 154,164.08. 911 Fund 35,064.30. Health Insurance Fund 964,049.64. County Clerk Storage Fees 35,834.76. ARPA Fund 5,108,431.84. National Opioid Settlement Fund 136,908.23. Special Reserve Fund 4,192,698.61, for a total of all funds 20,632,059.55.
Motion to acknowledge.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion?
In the ARPA fund, where we're going to take like 600 something thousand or whatever it was, and put it in the general fund. Is that just it hasn't happened yet?
It's in the list of cash transfers today.
It'll show on the next one.
She's ahead of you, Tyler.
Man, I should have known. I'm trying to.
You can't pull nothing past Amanda. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
We do have one budget transfer today. It was from membership dues, or from office supplies to membership dues on the solid waste for $25.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion. Have a second?
I'll second that. Don't have to wait, do it. $25, I'll take my chances.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
I do have 4 cash transfers for you this morning. The first one will be $20,000 from the Occupational Net Profits Tax Fund to the Jail Fund.
So moved.
Second.
I have a
So we can do
motion.
each one separate. Okay.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
It is not.
Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
I need to transfer $15,000 from the Occupational Net Profits Tax Fund to the LGEA Fund.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
I need to transfer $35,000 from the Occupational Net Profits Tax Fund to the 911 Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And I need to transfer $686,449.26 from the ARPA Fund to the General Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second.
$686,449.26, right?
To the penny. Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And at the next court meeting, I will do cash transfers from our general fund to put it, as you all decided to split it out the last court meeting. I wanted to get it here
Yep.
and make it stick and then
Spread it out.
spread it out, yes.
Tyler apologizes for questioning.
And then the last thing that I have for you, it's on your iPads. It looks like this. It's my annual treasurer settlement for fiscal year 22-23. And there's a lot of information in here. Our statement of assets shows that for all funds is $20,632,059.55. We had revenues in fiscal year 22-23 of $37,325,365.81. And it breaks out in, behind that sheet, it tells you exactly where all of our revenues come from, who they were from, how much we received. Our statement of appropriations for 22-23 shows that we spent $16,693,306.26. There's a statement of claims behind that document that shows each vendor that we paid to and exactly how much we paid to each one of those vendors. Behind that document is a certification of bank balances from First Southern National Bank. I'm required to have them certify my June 30 bank balances, and you'll see that in there as well. And then the very back document is a list of the employee gross wages for July 1 through June 30. And we had gross wages of $5,557,708.77. So I just need you all to approve my financials, my annual financial statement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second,
What's that
and
scribble on all of them? It's like a little scribble. I can't understand.
that's a
It's
carpal
the
tunnel
signature.
signature is
Oh,
what
it's
it
a little
is.
signature.
Yeah, that is a carpal tunnel signature. I sign my
It
name
goes
more now
uphill,
than I
doesn't
ever
it?
have in my entire life.
Nothing like a dig right here.
You know, I was just gonna put a request in for Amanda to get a new calculator, because she's done burnt 3 of them up going over that report. If there's no further discussion, roll call, please.
I want to ask a question.
Oh, go ahead.
So like for the last fiscal year, like our budget was 32,000,008. So is this reflective that we spent basically just half of the budget? Is that what that is?
Yes, yes, sir.
That's good. That's a good.
I was looking
just
at
make
which
sure I was reading that
report,
right.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, sir.
Is there any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of numbers to digest there, so after you get to looking at it, if you have any questions, just feel free to give me a call. I know it's a lot.
Thank you, Amanda. Next up is road work request, District 1.
Come on, any maintenance? Appreciate everything, Kelly.
District 2?
The storm damage, excuse me, still out on Dot, Burn Plains, Smith Grove Church, just continue the down tree removal and brush removal, and then I had a phone call, the Bayless Road stop sign is down again. I guess that storm blew it over again. Thank you for everything you do.
At least it's still there.
Pardon me? It blew down again, well, you fixed it one time, but then it blew down again? Cool, thank you. Thank y'all for all you do.
I know with all the storm damage in that area, Kelly and I have been talking about it. It's going to be a slower process, but we are cleaning it up. They're doing a great job out there. I'm proud of the road work. I'm proud of the work that they're doing out there. Thank you.
Yeah, very much, and also thanks for the community again. They our farmers and stuff kicked in and
Yes.
got a lot of trees out of the road that were gonna be a danger, all down Anders Mill Road and everything. State did good too.
All right. District 3.
Yeah, they put on there 429 Thompson Chapel Road, a little description about that issue. And then thank for taking care of Millitown Road, even if we don't know who did it exactly. I'm still open to your thoughts about our road sign issue. I know you and I have talked about that many times, and some of which we haven't replaced. And I know we talked about wood post signs again, but I don't want to ignore it for too long for the sake of 911 and others. But I know Bean Road is still the way it is, but I'm sort of tired of throwing money at it. But also feel like I can't leave it the way it currently is either. So I guess at some point I'd like to get what your thoughts are, whether to keep putting the metal signs up or to do something entirely different. But
I mean, realistically, I'm not opposed to changing to some type of cheap wooden, unattractive, just something to keep it from being stolen. I mean, we're spending tons of money on these metal signs that keep getting stolen. Yes, ma'am.
Can we not make some sort of policy that can be a little more heavily fined for people caught doing that? It seems like there's got to be something.
I don't think that
I think that's the most of the problem is
But
just
you
catching
find them in
them.
someone's home.
Well, that's actually going to be dictated by the state criminal law.
Correct.
We never get people because it's inherently something that's hard to catch because they do it when nobody's around.
Dictated by the state.
And so far, you take a road way off the beaten path, there's no traffic, I mean.
Yes.
I'm just saying, you all can't mess with the criminal laws that the state passes, and that is within one of the criminal laws. We can come down harshly on them, we just never get them because they're hard to find because they do it at night in the dark when nobody's around.
Well, I guess could we have some sort of reward system, reformation leading to?
Well, we've kind of suggested that, and we're not getting any help with it.
There's no return from the state on that. Let it go and pay it up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the state. Nobody's responding whenever the sheriff has put that out there.
Right. I'm all for putting out cardboard signs. I mean, I really am. I'm at that point.
An interesting thing, there was a sign in my county that's misspelled. And I turned it in, and they said, well, the problem with turning that one in, it's stolen all the time and misspelled, nobody takes it. I said, you know what, leave it. So honestly, we've got so many signs being stolen, including stop signs, that someone's going to
Exactly.
have a really bad.
Exactly. It's a bad situation. It could end up in a life or death situation. The problem is some people don't understand the consequences of their actions.
Oh, they understand it, they don't care.
That too.
Okay, if there's nothing we can do and it's state mandated, I mean, thank you,
I'm just
sir.
saying,
I
if a
didn't
criminal-
realize we were hamstrung with that.
Well, I mean, it can be a serious criminal law violation, but it's just, we don't have the authority to act where the state has, but it's finding them is the problem.
Yes, catching them.
Isn't that unreal?
Well, Kelly, I bring it up, I'm open to your suggestion. I know ultimately it's something you've got to take care of, but I don't want to just ignore the fact that we've got missing signs in various places, and I know can't be alone.
Are all the signs being unscrewed from the top, or are they pulled out from the bottom?
We're just breaking them off.
It's a little of both.
Multiple places.
It's a
Because I was
little
gonna
of
say,
both.
if we sunk them in enough concrete, they'd have to work hard to get them out. Yeah. They get that.
Yeah.
Than to do that. Okay, I get that.
If we
We've got to
decide
look
to
at
remove
finding,
posts
yeah.
the CPC carpentry class has, I think, a real nice engraving or whatever that
I'm sorry?
put it on post. But to give
That's
the
what-
project, maybe they'll.
Just hold on. That's what Kelly's trying to respond to. Go.
Do what?
Think about the 4 posts, you'll have to mark every spot, because you gotta dig the post over there. Can't go through a line, you have to call 811 for every post is set.
Jamie loves doing that.
I saw the lot down, and they said they still give them.
Yeah, they still pull them out, and then you have to go through the call all the companies that might have a line through there, every single place. Well, so be it.
Let's move on. District 4.
Yes, District 4. 201 R. Whitaker Road, they're ready for their tile that's at Southern States and it's paid for just whenever we get to it. And then there's a pothole at the Beachland end of Coon Range Road that I would like to see filled in. And other than that, everything else is good. Continue maintenance. Thanks for all y'all do.
District 5.
Yes. Is there any plan for a turnaround on the new paved section on Longview Lane? You did a great job, everybody's happy, believe it or not, no complaints. But when it comes to the end, I think there was some discussion, and one of the residents was very concerned that the turnaround for the bus. I didn't, he said, I talked to Mr. Wilson about it, and I said, well, I don't think I heard that part of the discussion, where there was a turnaround to where the second driveway will be that will come back around to the lane. Do you all have extra ready mix, or not ready mix, but the asphalt that can be used sometime?
We'll rock that.
Just rock it?
Right side.
Okay.
Where you're talking about.
Okay, because I'm sorry, I didn't hear that discussion, but yes.
Where a bus can turn around. We can rock the right side. It's not a ditch there anyway.
Yeah, right. Okay, but it'll be rock, so I can tell you. All right, second, a 92-year-old in my district says she can't walk out her door without the mosquitoes, and I think I called up to Cindy yesterday. I know you guys are swamped.
Actually, with that, yesterday, we had someone that passed their license test that works for the barn. So that's processes, getting the sprayed out. We're working on that right now.
I called her back and told her that very information.
Okay.
I just wanted to be sure we were on the list, that's all. Thank you.
Well, Judge, how do we need to handle those requests now that we're, I guess, equipped and certified?
That's something I wasn't prepared for. I think we're going to try to do it, just send those requests to me, and Kelly and I will sit down and talk about the areas. My plan was to kind of do areas.
I have a running mosquito list.
Do you have one? Okay, well, there you go.
They can call up here and ask for me or Hannah, either one, and I've got a running mosquito list of addresses. They'll have to get their phone number and their name.
Yeah, I think if you guys will reach out to them, that'd be a great thing. But our plan is to kind of do core sections, instead of trying to pop around different spots in the county, is to try to hit different sections throughout the county.
So is it more spot spraying, or is it more like you just said, taking?
At this point, it's hitting the more, your bigger population areas first, and trying to get those knocked out, and then working up for that.
To cover the county legally, probably, we would have to have an actual request from an address like the state would, because you can't just drive down the road because it might have bees or somebody might not want to spray.
Correct. So we're trying to still put that plan together right now. Kelly and I have been working on it, so.
This is where mosquito sprays are at. Okay, thank you.
When do you anticipate that could begin, just to be to pass?
Probably within the next couple of weeks of getting that started. So if anyone has any mosquitoes, I'm going to ask them to reach out to the magistrates, and the magistrates can reach out to us instead of us having that way it can be verified through you guys.
Well, cut out the middleman, cut out you all, actually put a middleman in there.
Yes, kind of.
Actually, yeah.
Kind of.
Gotcha.
All right, is that all the roadwork request? So let's move on to elected officials.
Make a motion to approve.
Oh,
all
sorry.
requests
Sorry.
as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Okay, now we'll move on to elected officials. Sheriff Stratton.
morning.
Good morning, sir.
Need to get my fee report for June acknowledged.
Make a motion to acknowledge the sheriff's fee report.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Not roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
All right, also have a personnel action request for this morning on a hire, certified officer of 12 years. He's got a lot of good experience and he's ready to come aboard and go to work. So
Where does he come from?
he come from Russellville Police Department.
Just kind of a lateral transfer there within the county.
Yeah, he had left and went to Logan Aluminum and realized he was
Happier doing that?
he needed to get back in law enforcement. So we're excited to have him.
Tyler, we need that.
I don't listen. I think.
I'm just double checking.
I wouldn't mind looking at it, actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Anything more?
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the personnel action request for Joseph Seth Whitaker, a new hire with 12 years experience, starting the base salary schedule of LC-SO-1
For August or July 17th to start date.
for all, July 17th start date.
I second that.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. There's any further discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next up, Stacy Watkins.
Well, I'm here to see if you guys can look over and acknowledge my fee report for June. And I do have an explanation with me today on the over/under, because I know that's rather alarming there.
Yeah.
Department of Revenue had us refund $3,600. No, I'm sorry, $3,492.00. We had to refund that back on Bradley Coachways. There was some exemption that Revenue found. I think they went back and forth for almost 6 months on it. So, but anyway, we had to refund that back.
Right, I will make a motion to approve the Logan County fee report.
Second.
Thank you. Oh,
What, you didn't have it passed yet?
Wow, she jumped right up
She was so
there.
excited.
I have a motion and a second. Is any other discussion? Stacy, you have any more?
I got nothing.
Not roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Do you want me to leave this so y'all can look at it? It's just the letter from Department of Revenue.
No, we believe it.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Stacy. Next up, Jailer Joshua Toomey.
Good morning, Court.
Good morning, sir.
As of this morning, our count was 176. I got, and to follow up with last court meeting, just give you an update on some of our classes and things. Currently in GED classes, we've got 5 male inmate or county inmates, 4 female county inmates, and 8 state male inmates.
Wait a minute, I missed part of that. How many again?
5 county
5 county.
male inmates, 4 county female inmates, and 8 male state inmates in GED. And then we've got several MRT programs, Portals New Direction, Moral Recognition Therapy, the MRT Mentor course, Untangling Relationships, Anger Management, and Thinking for Good. But Portals, we have 8 enrolled. MRT, we have 10. MRT Mentor, we have 2. Untangling Relationships, we have 11. Anger management, we have 10, and Thinking for Good, we have 9. And all these programs, it's all state inmates.
Untangling relationships, that's interesting.
Yes.
What does that entail?
Basically what it says on there. It's a lot of it, I guess, choices in life that put stressors on relationships, whether it be with family or a spouse. And this is to try to educate them on the decisions they made, trying to change the way of life there and fix those relationships by making better choices and things, moving forward, not looking to the past, but moving forward for sure. And yes, ma'am. And I think these were added to your tablet. I've got a couple positions of some new job descriptions as far as just restructuring current staffing in places that we definitely needed it. The first one would be a maintenance supervisor position, and the second would be a program director position.
Do you already have these employees in place?
Yes, they were deputies assigned to these positions. It's just assigning them to that and that new title to them.
I sent that email out to everybody, I think. So he had an RCC captain, and he's doing away with that position and making the maintenance director position or maintenance supervisor position take place of that. Correct. And then also program director, he's minusing one front office staff to just juggle some stuff around for the programs director. So it doesn't change his total number of employees, but and actually, you know, it'll save a little in his budget as far as personnel goes. So, but the end result is this is going to make, you know, according to Toomey, Joe Toomey, that this will make this is what he needs to make his jail more functional. And you don't need those other positions where they are. This will make it more so what he needs. And
Specialized, is that what you mean, more specialized rather than general?
What he's presenting here is what they're already actually doing anyway. We're just making it
a title.
Just changing job title.
Basically.
Correct.
It's cleaning up job descriptions.
There's been the maintenance supervisor.
Correct. What he's doing is actually, he's just kind of making lateral moves to open spots for floor. They're not really changing personnel. We're not changing really any budget numbers. We're just moving things around to make it fit his needs better.
Cleaning it up.
So what action do we need?
So we won't actually be, we won't be able to do, we can make this part of the first reading of the, we're going to do another change of the personnel.
I didn't put it on the agenda. I just figured you'd bring it up at post-agenda, correct? That's what
Well, if we're having a first reading to change, I think the judge has something on item number 4.
The road department.
Yes.
For some positions, I think we can include that on the first reading. Is that okay, Judge?
Yeah, I mean, it's all just different.
It's all personnel.
It's going to be all personnel actions, yes.
areas.
So I think item number 4 will.
We'll just add those. They should be, they'll be on your laptop or your iPads
We'll
there.
address that and we'll make that part of the first reading on item number 4.
Yes, sir.
So we'll have that two separate.
Thank you.
Question about those 2 state sales that you've been working on earlier in the year. Are those,
All of them are up and running. All the showers, everything, all the.
and like, what's the occupancy, I guess?
Roughly, we're running 20, and most of them, we've got different work crews, our outside work crew in one cell, interior, say laundry shifts where they'll work different times, so some were sleeping that worked at night. They're in one, kitchen's in another, and then we're trying to get more numbers to fill them all. We don't have them all completely filled. So
it's like 2/3
yes.
full on each?
Yes.
Well, the roads certainly look better.
Yes, yes.
I know that can be attributed to you guys.
Yes, ma'am. And we're currently with some restructuring. We're We've got an individual lined out to do a couple more days a week doing litter abatement. We've got a gentleman that we've hired that's going to be assigned to the state transportation department here, running a work crew for them. He's done it. He retired firefighter, but he done it for 5 years, running a mowing and litter abatement for the state. But we picked him up. We're glad to have him. We're just waiting on word for them, and we'll get him started. He's been helping us with some maintenance stuff until we get word from Paul at the State Road Barn. So, but we're trying to get people in place. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next up, department heads. Ginger, ECC, come up. Just while she's coming up, I just want you guys to give her appreciation. She stayed out till almost midnight last night working on one of our towers. I just want to say I appreciate it.
I did not comment, no. I just supervised. But we got it all back up and running. Yes, everybody else left about, I guess it was about 10. I was waiting on Evapure to get down here, or Evapar. And so I was up at the tower by myself for a little while. That's a creepy place. But I just stayed. Yes, I just stayed locked in my car because, you know, I thought, But then Kelly told me he's seen snakes on the way up there, which didn't help at all. There's nothing we can. I've been lucky so far. I have not seen a snake, because if I see a snake, I'm done. Okay. I'm done.
I really don't think there's any of that high, so I think you're okay.
He said it was a rattlesnake. He ran over it. But Kelly's gonna do some work on cleaning up on the way up there. We've had some limbs down, stuff like that. And of course, he goes in and he puts gravel in it, and then when it rains, it kind of washes it out and all that. But it's as the judge will tell you, it's not as impressive at the top as he thought it was when he got up there last night, because he come out to see what I had done, was going on. I appreciate everything he does. Well, technically, I don't think I have to do this because I'm not hiring with any experience, but I just wanted to tell y'all that I'm hiring 2 more employees. Leaves us with 1 open spot. One. So that's a big deal.
Progress.
But I've got 2 that are going to be starting with us. They're not starting until the 24th. And they have no experience, have never dispatched before, young girls, and I think they're going to work out good. But it's a Chloe Kahn and an Erin Embry. One comes from Sonic, and she's worked there since she was 16, and the other one comes from Holly in Bowling Green. But
So you're going to be putting them in training?
We're going to, I've got actually one that's in the academy right now. She started yesterday. She will graduate August the 4th. Then I have 1 more scheduled to go in September. And then these will be the only 2 that we don't have that aren't certified. So.
Good for you.
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
We're excited for you. It's good to see.
I got another interview this week, so maybe I'll be coming with good news.
How long has it been since you've been fully staffed?
I have never been fully staffed as long as I took over as director in interim in 2008.
I don't think I had anything to do with that, but you're welcome.
Yes, you did. You had with the raises and.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we reached out to people that, you know, Christy knew some people that had just graduated high school. She messaged them on Facebook. We messaged people. We did everything we could to try to get people to come in.
Good deal.
So.
Good deal.
15 years and not been fully staffed.
You pay people what they deserve, they'll come to work.
We have never been fully staffed. In fact, since we've had 2 come back, we have one that's working part-time, and she works the CDW's office all week and then works for us on the weekends. So, and
that's great.
So getting some good experience in there helps quite a bit.
Absolutely.
We're good.
We don't need.
I just wanted to brag and share that these still have to be.
All right.
That's all I have, unless you
Thank
have
you.
any questions.
Ginger.
Thank you. Sorry about your long night.
Oh, it's okay. It was a 15-hour day, but you know, I used to could do that, and it's not as easy as it used to be.
Ginger, thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Kelly, do you have anything? Okay, Kelly doesn't have anything. Next up is, and I know Denise didn't have anything. We spoke about that. So I'll always save Nathan. Come on up, buddy. Solid Waste.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just real quick on the litter abatement report, we did do around 48 miles of pickup, 339 bags and 17 tires. Had lots of community service and appreciate the jail crew out there and understanding getting a second crew out there. It's exciting. So
Great.
We're looking forward to that. And on the recycling, Tim and the crew have been working out there, 20 bales of cardboard and some load of plastic and some metal. And if y'all have any questions about anything.
Is the recycling from your end better? Because there was the problem a few months ago with it not being acceptable at your offset station. So.
Now, you talking about with the Scott Waste, or you talking about with the recycling center?
Recycle center, they were refusing part of Logan County's for contamination.
No, that was Scott Waste.
Yeah, the Scott Waste, yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
To my knowledge, Sam tells me everything is still good with it.
So they're
It's
taking
better.
everything
It's
better.
not perfect, it's never going to be perfect, but it's better, where they're not threatening to reject our loads anymore.
Well,
So
thank you. I'm
we're
grateful for that.
we're really glad.
And how's our numbers as far as weight?
Steady, I would say.
Not better?
Now, you're talking about the Scott Waste program?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The recycle.
As far as I can tell, it's been fairly steady. It might be down a little bit from what I've seen. They do have some numbers for that. I can get you those numbers if you'd like to make sure you have an exact number. But it's steady, or maybe a little down, but not anything significant in change-wise.
Well, I was thinking about when we were at Logan Aluminum, and they said they depend, I didn't realize this, they depend on our metal recycling a lot more than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering about how we could get those numbers up. And if you have great ideas, we can battle that around. But
We're working on one now. I'm
I
not
So-
going to say anything about it yet till we get something
Right,
together.
right,
But yeah, but it's coming.
I think just the education to the public is one of our biggest things, and Nathan does a wonderful job at educating the public. I got to listen to him at the fair opening day, talk to several people. He done a great job, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to
Okay,
keep.
good.
We're actually going to keep working on it. Of course, next door they can pay for cans. If you're talking about our little recycling center or our recycling center, they can. We can't pay anybody for cans, but we certainly encourage it when folks drop those off to take those and recycle it. And, we have decent numbers even that bring out our steel and aluminum cans. So.
I didn't realize the Logan Aluminum will take tin, any kind of metal, melt it down and make it work. I did not realize that. So
It's really impressive out there.
I think the public is probably unaware of the fact that it doesn't have to just be aluminum.
Right. Yeah. Steel and metal is up right now, they say, so it's good.
Nathan, the contract services recycling fee on the bill was $2,336. Is that?
That's actually a little bit less than
A
it
little
is
less? Okay, I was
sometimes.
thinking maybe
It is, as we're kind of saying, it's a little down.
Getting a little,
Yeah.
getting a little down, okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
Appreciate everything.
Yeah,
Is that it?
absolutely. I did want to say something else, if it's okay. I'm not sure I'm supposed to say this, but oh well. This is, as far as I know, Olivia's last court, and many Monday afternoons I've come in with bringing my papers late, and she's taking care of me every time, and I really appreciate Olivia. Thank you, and wish you the best with everything. So.
Hey, I'm not happy about that, so go
If I
ahead.
come back, then I'll bring my years of service.
But the only way I can accept it is that it's because of that pretty little girl.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, I can't be mad at her about that, but I can be
You'll
mad
still
at
upset
her.
with me.
I can still be mad at her though, but. All right. Next up is EMS John Holder. Good morning, John.
Good morning. Good morning. We don't have anything, Judge, but there's some kind of lingering concerns about some of our response times, so I just want to make myself available to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I continue to get questions about the Auburn situation.
Mhm.
And so I'm very grateful. I want this to be on public record, but I'm grateful for your response to that, because they're sure I'm not doing enough.
Okay.
And it's not intended to be a problem for you. They just want to make sure I am a voice that they're not feeling that they're getting.
Okay.
So if you had a list of response times throughout the county, that I could present to some of my Auburn constituents so
Sure.
that they would feel that their response times are at least equitable?
Sure. No, we get, obviously, I'm not going to share the addresses of our citizens. That would be unethical and illegal. Sure, I've done that. And as we spoke before, to your district, our average response time right now, year to date, is 16.4 minutes. We talked at the end of May, and at that time it was 16.3. In 2021, it was 17.6. In 2022, it was 16 even. And last month, it was 15.9 minutes. So kind of, that's pretty constant numbers, honestly. That's staggeringly constant. We ran it a few times. I've got it right here, and I'll give it to you. We ran it a few times, like, those numbers are too steady. Like, let's look into that. But that's what it is. I mean, we, at your request, looked at some of those outliers and some of those further areas up there around, like the Rich Loop, Bald Knob, Old Greenville Road. We're averaging around that area, like the Bald Knob type area, we're averaging on emergency runs about 18 minutes, and that Old Greenville Road area 15 minutes. This year, we've had 2 outliers that were north of 30 minutes. In both cases, so many runs dropped, all of our trucks were out. The crews did what they were supposed to do. They called their call crew in, and the response times were great. It took a few minutes for them to get in. Now, that's going to happen. I can't staff. There's been several points in my career that we've had 8 or 10 runs drop at the same time. I can't staff 10 ambulances 24/7. So the process worked. Our response times are steady. They've been steady over the last few years. Our model is the same model that everybody in our region uses. You know, you have an EMS station at the population center of your county, and you make runs. The only county that's any different would be Warren, and they have a hair over 5 times our population, and they have 2 stations. So, I mean, we're doing everything we can do. I've got a great staff, great men and women doing a great job.
Thank you.
Our response times are pretty good considering the geography that we have to cover.
You know,
I'm not sure what else I can provide them, you know.
Strangleholds that we all face, that I'm supposed to represent them, and
Certainly.
that's what I hear.
Sure.
You're not representing us adequately
Sure.
as to ambulance response time. So then when I call you, you think, I'm doing everything I can. So I'm kind of walking a tightrope here.
I understand.
And,
I don't know what else I can provide.
No, if you can provide me that, I said I will
Sure.
try to keep that updated all the time. And without throwing darts, you recognize what my circumstance is, because I've talked to you personally.
Yeah, we've
Did you wanna say this?
talked quite a bit. Yeah, like I said, you've got my number and open invitation to come out of the station. Now, because you represent the county government, you can come by and see some of those specific runs. So if there's a run or an address that you want to see, I believe I can show you that.
Well, I know some of them personally,
legally.
because I've been called and
Come
said
on
they
by
got here
and
this time,
sure,
they got
sure.
here this time.
You have an open invitation to swing by the station, and I'll show you all our numbers are open to anybody if at the court if you guys want to come by and see.
I think a lot of times when the person is in that position, you know, of needing response, 16 minutes seems like 3 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, I've had a child choking and you know, stuff like that. But I think overall, y'all provide an excellent service to Logan, and I couldn't be more happy.
Sure, we try to, and just anecdotally, my family resides in your area. My wife and I are raising 3 wonderful kids there. We're on the other side of Auburn, so response times are important to me as they are to anyone. But response times are important to every community we have in this county, and we looked at all of them, all the population centers around the county to make sure you weren't being underserved or anything of that
I'm
nature.
sorry
And
if I
that's
had it,
no, that's fine.
I feel like I, as my job, and I was told, you're not doing your job.
Okay.
And I said, okay.
Sure.
So here I am today.
Sure.
Thanking you for coming in.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanking you for doing this.
No problem.
And continuing to try to help me walk my tightrope.
No problem.
You're my net underneath,
Sure.
I guess.
Sure.
So, thank you.
No problem.
You know, I've watched, and I've talked to John about this many times, and you know, we're a large county, and we do not have the funding to be able to put these ambulances into place everywhere. If we could, I mean, I would gladly love to put ambulances all over the county to make those runs shorter, but the realistic side of that is we just can't do that. 15 minutes average, 15, 16 minutes. You know, I guess if I'm sitting there and I'm needing an ambulance, you know, 15 minutes seems like 6 hours to some people.
Sure.
And I think that's probably one of the big things. I'm very happy with their response times. I've heard very little complaints, zero actually, other than the ones you're presenting to me today. But I've been very, very happy with their response times.
Well, a lot of these that I've been talking to are new residents.
Mm-hmm.
And they are moving here from areas that I don't know, they must have had something better.
Yeah.
But I know I did tell you recently that I had a lady on Bucksville Road that called me, and she goes, they got there in 10 minutes. I said, really? She said, they saved my husband's life.
That's good.
So.
I think it would be worth to mention too that all of our volunteer firefighters. And
They do a fantastic job. Yes, sir.
They come as, you know, because a lot of them live, you know, everywhere in the county. And they come and do assist however they can until y'all can get there. And I think y'all welcome that.
Absolutely.
So they come at the same time.
They get the
coincidence.
They get the call.
Yeah. And again, this is the same model that, other than Warren County, everybody in our region, I'm very honored to be the president of our Regional Directors Association for EMS, and so I sit down with these men and women who run the services that border us, and we talk about this quite a bit. This is the same model everybody's using. To be fair, I don't know how we could improve it more than what we're doing it right now.
Well, your willingness to present today is great.
Yes, ma'am. And the offer stands. If you get a complaint, come on by. We can look at it individually. That's for everybody. I don't care a bit to do that. Our numbers are.
When he says everybody, he's just talking
just
about
the court. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Thank you.
magistrates, yes.
Thank you. What I mean is, if the judge or any of the magistrates want to come by, and if there's a run you want to look at, we'll absolutely look at it. If there's a way to improve, we want to improve. So, completely transparent. We're open. Whatever you guys want to see,
Yeah, I'd just like to see, like, if you're ever up on River Road, if you're ever up in some of these,
absolutely,
what your circumstances set up for you.
Sure.
Y'all done a great job.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
Yes, sir.
Do you all ever document cases where you do struggle to get to an address?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Well, that goes back to the issue
well, yeah,
blah, blah, blah,
we were
ago.
feeling the
And
pain
I
over there.
thought, do you report that? Like, if you have struggles and it's due to...
If we see something that's happening quite a bit, we do. Every once in a while, you'll have a caller in an emergent situation who they're not ready for that, and so they'll forget their own address or where they live, and it takes a few minutes to discern that kind of thing. We don't report that, but if we see there are road signs missing in a certain area, we'll tend to report that, or if
Do you
there's a
report that to
response
Kelly,
time.
or-
We typically run through through
Okay.
dispatch, yeah.
With that being said, too, something that I've noticed in my 20 years of working with the public, working for the telephone company, was a lot of times you go out to places and you're looking for addresses, and they don't put addresses on their houses or even on their mailbox because they assume that everybody knows who they are and everybody knows where they live. Well, unfortunately, that's not the case. So I would encourage anybody to make sure, number one, their address is on their mailbox for sure, and if it's a multiple dwelling driveway, please put those numbers on your house. It's life or death situation. If you can't tell the person where you're at, and all they have is an address, and there's multiple houses and none of them have numbers on them, you don't know where it's at. So I will.
Very good
Yes,
point.
ma'am.
Can we put that in the paper to encourage people to do that? Is that a legal problem?
No, it's not a legal problem. It's just a suggestion of, something maybe Denise can help us with, of actually getting addresses put on houses, on mailboxes. I mean, that's just a concern. Correct? Sorry?
What do you go over?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
To get to an address. And the reason I ask this is this is something that came up that I guess I never noticed before in the last few weeks, but Watermelon Road, for instance, the addresses go from 79 to Dot.
Gets a little tricky. Yeah.
They just came through in the last few weeks and installed mileage post signs which run the complete opposite. And I never noticed that's the case, and I've always sort of wondered, like, well, what's the purpose of a milepost sign? But I could see that really could cause confusion if you were lost, because if I told you to come to my address and it was in the 4500, you'd be looking between the mileposts 4 and 5.
True.
Because that's how you understand it. But if the posts run different opposite than the addresses, I could
A
see
little bit
that
of a
would
problem.
cause
And the
problems.
numbering system too, because we train our employees also, because usually you're numbered, on the tenths of a mile down a specific road. We train on that, but that's not always the case either. So we kind of rely on redundancy for that very reason. Our dispatch app will give us a map. We also have GPS units that are different from that in every truck, and we also have a map book. And I have employees rolling their eyes right now when they hear me talk about the map book, because I'm an old school guy, and I'm like, you don't know, get that map book out. That'll steer you right. But so we kind of try to double and triple check everything on the way out just to make sure.
It's just, you got a postal system versus a state
Sure.
road system, and it's sort of,
It gets tricky.
Yeah.
And then the caller's wondering where you're at, but they don't have a number on their mailbox. So it's
One
tough.
last question. I know that the GPS maps are done in Frankfurt. Is that correct?
No.
No, ma'am, no, I don't believe so.
Where are those done?
Ginger, you want to come up and address that?
No, I'm lucky enough to have.
Actually, yeah, we got Kim from Brad here also
Well,
that helps us
question
tremendously
was,
with
that's the
that.
last one for you. The GPSs, are they generally accurate for you to put in your ambulance and get to your location? Because I know that was a failure in Auburn.
Generally speaking, they're
Okay.
accurate in some of the more populated areas. In some of the other ones, they're not, and that's why we have the app from the dispatch app we use, the GPS and the map book. So what we typically do is we'll get going. We're getting going in that route. We put it in the GPS. We see where the line's taking us, and we're double checking, is that really accurate? So that's usually our process.
Well, I can tell you this, whenever an address is assigned, I assign it, I send it to the post office, all that, I send it to Kim, she puts it on our map and it updates our map. When Google picks it up, it's not up to us at all. I mean, it could be, you have some addresses they'll pick up really, really quick, some we have fought with for years to get on there. It's not anything that we can fix, just like I've had people call me, I assign an address and they're like, 3 days later, well, Google doesn't know where I'm at. Well, that's because Google has not picked it up yet.
Right.
But I tell them that they're going to know because we're going to tell them. And a lot of times we try on, I know I had a run the other day, it was on Smith Road in Adairsville. So as soon as I got it, because you have Smith Road, Smiths Grove Road, all those
Smiths
different
Grove,
things.
Church Road.
Yeah. So I'm like, this is the one off the dot, and we try to give them any, and I know if I'm dispatching and we get a road that comes in there that I don't know, they're not going to know it because I know most all the roads, from doing this as long as I have. But we do try to give them cross streets. There are times that we give them directions. We will try to give them, if it gets to the point, description of the houses. But I mean, some of them, the problem, the one you're talking about, is because part of that road is state road, part of it is county, and the GPS took them to the state side and it was on the county side. But that was nothing that could have been helped, because it's when you have a road that's like that, just like Browning Road, for instance. Some of these roads are
Browning is also that way.
Yes,
That's also
Browning, if you come from there on 68, if you come that way, they're low numbers. If you come off of Cave Springs, they're low numbers. So they're low numbers on both ends. So that's what you run into in that.
That's kind of like what Chris is talking about.
Tricky.
So if you come in from the Bowling Green side, you've got one set of numbers. You come in from the Logan County side.
And we called a couple of roads. I know me and Kim worked a long time on Hardison Road because it was the same way. When it went into Simpson County, their low end was on that end and our low end was on this end. So since I had less houses, because there were less addresses, I addressed my end on the higher end. But some of these roads have been this way for so long, and some people have been there for 20-something years with an address, and changing your address is a big
it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so the problem that you're aware of in Auburn that happened over a GPS map, that's rectified or not rectifiable?
We have addressed it on our end, and we'll try to tell them, come this way, And sometimes it's like, I know your GPS, if we're telling them, they will listen to us over the GPS because we know exactly where to go.
So both of those roads have the problem of state road and county road. Both of them have the problem of having two different directions. So
it's been like that for, I have no idea how long it's been that way. But it's a lot of things that we've adjusted it on our map. Of course, it'll populate as soon as they call 911 or we look it up on our map. We can tell them, hey, because a lot of times we'll do on these roads, it's closer to come off of this end. Because, you have roads that go from one end to the, like Watermelon Road will go from Orndorff Mill over to 79. So we'll tell them which end to go in off of, because that can make a big difference in their response time. And we work really hard trying to do, you know.
And that's the takeaway is we're talking about pre-hospital emergency medical response. There are going to be contingencies. There's going to be confusion. There's going to be missing numbers. Ambulances are going to hit deer. Things are going to happen, but we work together to try to make sure we're getting there as absolutely quickly as we can.
So is the problem with Google still open?
The problem with Google is Google, and Google's going to do what they want to do. They do not care. There is one particular instance that we're thinking of, and we keep getting hounded on this one road. It's a private road, and Google does not recognize this address. It's out of our control, and this homeowner just doesn't seem to want to listen that we have nothing to do with Google.
But
Google is their own
Google
entity.
having their records, they
Yes.
know, and they tell ambulances.
And I mean, you know, we can send in errors on Google if we find something. Doesn't mean they're gonna do it. I mean, we've dealt with this one road he's talking about for what, 10 years? I mean.
We've tried to submit it to Google
Multiple times.
I mean, I just.
Yeah.
Google don't care who Kim is, do they?
No, Google doesn't care.
Google does not care.
Because that has not been rectified by Google. That's totally inexcusable. And whether it's, I mean, I'm not blaming you all. I'm not blaming you all for that. Because if the GPS maps that you turn in have not been rectified by Google, that's on them.
But we get the blame for it. I mean, that's just.
Right, and we're not, again, procedurally, we're not just looking at Google. We're looking at map books and other mapping software as well. But again, with private roads that aren't on map books, that are, or if the global positioning system can't find it, there's not a whole lot John Holder can do about that other than getting that book and do the best we can to get there as fast as possible.
More people call Google will make any difference.
No. Let's just be honest. We're not going to be able to solve this problem here. Let's try to move on with the meeting. I mean, basically, Google is Google. We can't have no control over them. End of story. I mean, we can sit here and complain and, start writing letters to Google, and they don't care. So at this point, John, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Ginger, thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
Let's move on. Archives, come on. Denise has informed me she's got a quick bit of information for us with archives. Thank you, Denise.
So I am here to get asked to approve request for bids for the grant that we would like to request from KDLA for the storage expansion at the archives. We're able to do that as of last week. Needs to be turned in by August 22nd. Grant is due to KDLA by September 8th. Specs are ready to go.
Is this for just the purchase of items or?
It is for the purchase and installation of the storage, the whole entire storage upgrade to better maximize and use the space that we have.
I'll make a motion to authorize the advertisement for bids for the storage units at the archives building.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Don't get in-
Denise, thank you.
If it don't get in the paper.
Actually, Olivia will take care of that, and that goes to the ad department, not us.
Thank you. All right. I think that wraps up our department heads. Let's move on to judges' announcements real quick. July the 14th, Past Finders will be meeting at 6:30 p.m. at the Logan County Public Library. Sonny Green will be the guest who will be showing off some of his paintings of Logan County's past. That'll be really, really neat. July 15th, 22nd, and 29th. Our Saturdays at the Logan County Archives will be open. If you haven't been down and visited through there, I suggest you take a visit. They've started open on Saturdays to give the public a chance to be there. I think if there's a group of 10 or more, please try to limit that because it's a very small building. July 21st is Giving Back Motorcycle Bike Night. The third annual Giving Back Motorcycle Bike Night will take place at 6 p.m. at Hampton Park. The children will choose the best bike to award the championship belt to. If you win, you put the belt on the line and bring it back for the next show. Any information, call Jay Allison at 270-306-1800 or www.givingback.wixsite.com. Next thing is very important. July the 15th at 5 p.m. on the Adderville Square in city of Adderville. The city of Adderville will be holding a prayer vigil for Matt Davis, the Bowling Green police officer who was recently shot in the line of duty in Bowling Green. He is a Logan County native, so July 15th at 5 p.m. They would appreciate everybody coming out and saying a quick prayer for Matt, or just doing it from home. However you do it, please just say a prayer for this officer. All right, moving on. Reports. Do we have any reports? If not, citizens participation. I don't think I see anyone out here of the 1,400 people we have out here. Yeah, okay, good. Next up, old business. I don't believe we have any old business either. So let's move on to new business. Item number 1, acknowledge the receipt of a written report from the reapportionment committee for the redistricting of magisterial boundary lines. I think we have Rhonda from that committee is coming up. Hi, Rhonda. How are you?
We submitted a written report. If y'all are okay with it, I won't read all of that. You've got it. I'll kind of summarize it for the court real quick. I wanted to give these to y'all, whether it's what we go with or not. I wanted you to have it, draw on it, but your marks are inside there. A lot of comparisons are inside there. Did I give you one? And then I have one for Thomas. I know you've got it.
I've got one. So.
Will you see him before I will?
Just leave it there with his stuff, and we'll make sure he gets it.
All right. So I'm going to summarize real quick just what's in the report. So we know, we did initiated the reapportionment process by running that ad in the paper. That was on April 4th. May 23rd, you guys appointed Alan Woodward from District 2, Clarence Gamble coming from District 3, Miss Rhonda Sullivan, who was named the chairman, she's coming from District 5. And then I'm also on it, however, I'm not a non-voting member, but just for the record, I'm from District 1. District 1. Okay, so all total, we had 3 meetings. On June 16th, we had all met at the judge's office. One of the options was ruled out simply because that district was going to encompass 3 cities. So I assume y'all are working with your city councils. I don't know. But anyway, that would have encompassed 3 cities. That's 3 city council meetings. And then we were talking about 4 school board districts. And it was just a lot of land mass. And we just felt like they felt like the citizens of Logan County really would benefit better if it was a little bit more compact, which is part of the KRS, to make sure it's compact. So after they voted on the one that they thought would best serve the citizens of Logan County, that was going to be option 3. Our office started receiving some concerns and questions and things. So we reached out to them, asked them if they would like to reconvene and go over those, or would they go ahead and like to present what they had come up with to you guys at that fiscal court meeting, which I don't remember now. I believe it was the 23rd. They decided to reconvene and try to get y'all's suggestions, and there was other citizens in the county. We tried to address all of those and incorporate those. Then we re-met, and while we were doing that, of course, the Brad office, Miss Kim Morrow, who is a hero, she's wonderful. If you ever need a map drawn, you need to talk to her.
Absolutely.
She was working, her and Chelsea were working together to try to incorporate those. So then we met one more time, and the committee did vote on this option 4, which you see. And at this time, I'm going to go ahead and let the chairman up here to answer any questions you guys might have, or if you have any for me, or if you have any for Kim, she's here as well. Okay. just needs to be acknowledged today, by the way. I mean,
Yeah, that's all we're gonna do
we're
today
just
is
acknowledge that we
acknowledge it.
have done it. And at this time, like after court today, they will be dismissed from the committee. They're no longer, okay.
Thank y'all for all y'all's work.
Absolutely.
I know y'all put in a lot of time, and I personally don't have any questions.
I don't either. On the verse report, looks good.
I'll share it with Thomas and make sure he gets it, and he's,
Are you sure? Is all good?
I think.
This is just to look at, not a finalized thing, right?
You can write on it. I can print you out another one as long as they'll loan me some 11 by 17 paper. I got you. I can get you as many copies as you want, okay?
Yeah.
right.
Until we run out.
Today, all we're gonna do is acknowledge, as Jason just said, all we're gonna need to do is acknowledge that that you guys have received this.
Make a motion to acknowledge the receipt written report from the reapportionment committee for redistricting and magisterial boundary lines.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion, or is there any more comments
If y'all
or
ever have any
questions?
questions, you're more than welcome to contact me, and I'll try to answer the best that I can.
Yeah, I do that, but thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Appreciate it.
All right, if not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford.
There was a little teeny yes on there.
Baker.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the final proposal from the committee, okay? We good? Thank you, guys. Thank y'all. They worked really hard. I want to thank them. Also, I forgot to mention it, I want to thank whoever you got to put my sign up for me back down there. It got knocked down, got tore down,
That would be
something.
Mr. Irvin and Gary.
Okay.
They work together.
If they're listening, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, number 2 is open bids for the construction of the new bridge located on Newtown Road. I believe we have 3 sealed bids for this.
Oh, we didn't get any bid.
No, I think we voted to put it out last time.
Yes, we had some confusion on that. There are, yes, there are 2.
So they're probably,
I've got a feeling that
Galusha.
Galusha sent out 2. The first one that we're opening is from Scott and Murphy.
We put up 80 in this county. It's an 80-20 for the state, so there's 100,000. We got 100,000, but we only put up 80.
So the 80's on the county?
I think it is.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because my bridge was like $150,000 and the county paid for 80, and I don't know if it's 70 out. And his bridge is gonna be over 100 too. It's just crazy now. We're gonna have to really look at that. Because it used to be the 100,000.
First one up is Scott and Murphy for $79,750.
maybe somebody else Galusha was hand delivered because we didn't think that that one would make it.
Where they at?
Just like it sounds, Galusha.
Huh. Well, no, I spoke with him. I spoke with him. Had to see it. And they've got some bridge projects that's really okay. Next up is Galusha. Well, they didn't think one got here, so it may be the same exact bid. So what we'll do is we'll start with this one.
79.7.
Does anybody else use it?
It would be nice to clean it up. Did you change?
The next up is from Galusha. It's at $135,000.
How much?
135,000.
Yeah, that's before we make a decision. I'd like for Kelly to evaluate these.
Galusha is normally like 10% cheaper.
I'm pretty sure this is the same. They handled, one came in the mail and they hand delivered the other, because they didn't think the mailman would get here, so. Absolutely. Kelly, do you want a minute to look over those to make sure we're apples to apples on those? Or
That's what
you're
I'm-
pretty sure confident they are?
Well, I've got a place for two, and this is.
Oh, that's gonna happen.
That'd be Scott.
We've got places with 3 dollars to share.
Oh,
I'd be curious to know that cluster. And I know she can pull it up.
I know.
so you, and you, all three, no.
Like Knight subdivision had 44 people in it, and that Thompson, that triangle had like 76 people.
I can't.
I'm just saying, like, that one proposal, I was going to switch those, but it ended up staying the same.
All right, we have the two bids. One, yes, sir. Well, there was 3. It ended up, Galusha ended up mailing one and then hand delivering one because they didn't think the mailed one would get here in time. So it's the identical bid, so.
There's nothing to look at.
Jason's the bridge probably put about 10 bridges in his district in the past 4
Is there
years.
anything we mentioned about time? Is that factored
Spring,
in?
on the cheaper one, which was Scott Waste, they said spring of 2020, it's not Scott Murphy, not Scott Waste.
Spring of 2024.
Spring of 2024, but Judge seemed to think that's just safe.
I mean, there's nothing.
So we have the 2 bids. Any other questions?
Remind me again, there's $100,000 in that line, and the state pays for 20%.
80%.
The state pays for 80%.
It's 80-20.
Yeah, okay.
But what we'll do is the work, because we've got work that we need to do.
Right.
So in that 20%, we can use it in kind. Because we've got quite a bit of work to do to be prepared for this.
Yeah. I think for that price, we'd have to. I'll make a motion to accept the bid from Scott and Murphy for the bridge project on Newtown Road for a total of $79,750.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, can we get a roll call, please?
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Item number 3, hold the first reading of ordinance number 23-920-01, amending the minimum setback requirements for solar farm installations in Logan County. You guys have that report?
Do we read that, or do we just make a motion to approve first reading?
This is just the first reading, so basically what it boils down to is we are just basically matching. Joe, go ahead.
If everybody's in agreement, you can just make the motion and there'd be no requirement to go through it formally.
Where is the actual?
Basically setting all of the statutory setbacks back to what they are of 2,000 and 1,000, depending on those specific structures and items listed in the statute.
Does it, I don't remember, it's been so long ago, we did that. Does the language in there talk about just for solar companies that are producing electricity to resell it? As in, like, what if someone?
I don't think it would, if it's for commercial, I don't think it would relate to if somebody wants to do it on their own.
Like if a farmer wanted to solar power his barn?
No, it's for commercial operations.
Solar energy facilities.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I make a motion to approve the first reading of this ordinance change, number 19-92006, and amended here with 23-920-01, 22-920-03. I word that right, Jeff?
Yeah, that. Good enough, how's that?
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If no further discussion, roll call.
Davenport,
No.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
No.
Crawford,
I'm undecided.
You gotta decide.
Well, then I'm gonna say no.
Baker,
I'm going to say yes. That puts us unfortunately at 3-3.
You just have to
I'm,
do it at the next court meeting.
Yep.
Again.
Yep. So we'll just put that to next court meeting, and when we have a deciding vote. All right, moving on. Item number 4, hold the first reading of ordinance 23-230-01, amending requirements for the positions of light equipment operator, heavy equipment operator at the county road department, and also we're adding the jail changes to that, the position changes, or the restructure, might I say. Was there anything else we needed that we were adding? I don't think there was anything else we were adding to that, was it? Animal control?
The jail,
The animal.
you said that, what he presented.
Yes, sir.
earlier.
Yes, sir. The animal.
Two positions.
What
and
about
then
your, the animal?
Animal shelter director position that, like I said, Jason and I have spoken about that, and along with the sheriff, because the sheriff is kind of taking over the ACO portion. And after doing lots of interviews, I think he's had lots of applications.
We've had a very, very good response.
And he's talked to a lot of experienced ACO.
A lot of experienced people have applied, so, I mean, the way y'all set up and how you set it up is really drawing great attention, so.
Yeah.
It's actually.
And actually, after talking to those experienced ACO people, they've also expressed that an ACO person is unable to perform all duties.
With this, I think with the situation and the animal control officer will be busy. They'll be busy a lot. There'll be times they're not, but you're really going to need somebody to be there directing the day-to-day, minute-by-minute activities. So there's no lack of not getting done or not knowing what's getting done or having to go from one to the next. So I think it's a total rebuild for the county. In my personal opinion, is to split it. It would spread the load between the two, and then I think with the number of qualified applicants that have applied, there's a really good foundation that can be built there based on the applicants that have applied. I feel like that, like I tell them, some of the interviews I've had is it's a ground zero thing, and the county is looking for some good people to run both positions.
Yeah,
so I think it's, my opinion is split it and then continue to grow from there, and it will be successful. Because I know the court push this animal control and young society in a different direction. It's just, I think you'll see that success that way.
So, I mean, you know, obviously we're having these discussions and we're having these new things in place because of issues. So I mean, it's just a simple fact. Because of issues, and it's not because the Humane Society is incapable. I just think maybe it's too much, for them to handle all the bills and all and ACO and adoptions and just everything. So I mean, I don't want to totally knock the Humane Society out of being able to do adoptions. So I think having the county having the director role will allow Humane Society to still, when we process the animals, we'll still be able to say, Humane Society, here's the animals that you can use for adoption, get your adoption fees, get your donations, and still operate. And because I mean, there is good that Humane Society does. Jason's been on the board for 4 years. It's tough, but and I wouldn't have a problem with Humane Society still using some of our kennels in our building for their adoptions and for their, and they give them an office in there. But as far as the blunt of operation, it's past time, I think, for the county to take over, and having the two positions would definitely is a model that we believe will work very well. So that's why we've added other positions.
Animal control and human society, two different things.
So like the county will employ 2 people. The ACO is who work for Steve, and then the animal shelter director is kind of more sort of the judge's office. But they'll also work together. I mean, because that way if an ACO officer's out or something, that person can still go out to calls. That's one of the requirements, that they can also go out on calls, but that's not their primary role. Their primary role is to be at the shelter, answer phone, answer emails, work with other rescues, work with other adoption agencies, get these animals out. That's not, we don't want to be the county that when animals come in, nobody claims them in 7 days, we kill them. That's the impression. But that's, the people have said that, but that's false information. Nobody on this court's ever said that. Nobody's ever even had that discussion. But I was on the radio last week, and someone called in and said that we're going to kill every animal after 5 days. So which is totally false information, made up information. So public needs to know that is not the county's intentions. The county's intentions is for it to operate better than what it is today, which is best for the animals. So, but I think we can do that successfully with our 2 employees, and also working with the Logan County Humane Society
and other local
rescues or outside
in the same facility you have.
Currently.
For
yeah,
now.
I was going to say there's a lot of question to come up at a future time.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I keep delaying our court, but there's a lot of questions out there about can't you get a better and larger facility? And I said that's a different subject.
Yeah, it's a large undertaking, and it's something that's got to happen eventually. There's no doubt about that. It's got to happen. But I think with the right people in place, get a new director that works for the county, looking for grants, looking for opportunities, working with businesses, large industry we have in this county, and saying, hey, we're doing this big project. Would you help us?
Yeah.
And I think this will set the platform for things to be better moving forward.
Yeah, once we get this phase implemented, then we can actually look to the future.
Yep.
Okay, that's what my question was.
What's I think I questioned was, about one being under supervision of Steve and one being under supervision of Phil. Is that a potential
conflict?
I don't know, I just wondered about basically having 2 bosses in the same building.
Well, we kind of had discussed that, and I think it'll be all right now. And if we see anything, we can. No.
The big boss.
In reality, Phil's employee would be the boss of the building, and Steve's employees would be the boss of the road.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Building versus road.
I'll just be involved with the director, other than just been asked. So my goal would be to make sure animal control is doing its part. So
I like that separation.
I mean,
That's easy to explain. Thank you.
Have we already done the ACO position? That's all, is that in here, in this first reading, or was that something we've already?
The ACO is.
Update it. They'll have to update that ordinance.
So, yeah, I mean, as far as this first reading now, we have the jails changes, and we have, I think, Judge Baker had some cleanup things to do on his position, some light duty.
And the heavy duty at
and
the
heavy duty
road
equipment
barn.
operator.
Yes.
And nothing changes as far as number of employees and like that.
That's for the facility.
This is for the
road.
No,
the road.
The road barn, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, we're just basically changing some job descriptions at the road
Okay,
barn.
I'm just trying to separate the two.
HR's been doing some cleanup on
Yes.
job descriptions and things that are not relevant and things that are relevant.
Correct.
Now, we're not changing anything but just some cleanup on
Okay.
job descriptions.
Okay.
And the judge has, and Paula have worked out that on the heavy equipment operator and the light equipment operator.
Correct.
Make sure they are in conjunction with the correct salary schedule, which whoever's in those roles already are being paid on the right salary schedule, but they're just cleaning it up. And then also, it'd be adding the position of animal shelter director. So those are the items. And also, I sent everyone a copy of that. I don't know if it's in here or maybe not. Oh, yeah, here it is. Copy of that Logan County Fiscal Court approved positions. That's something we're keeping up with now. You know, that is reflected in the judge's office. You see animal shelter director or assistant ACO.
I have one issue with this, and Amanda and I found it this morning at the very bottom.
We're going to have to, and I talked to Amanda this morning, and we're going to have to, there is a typo on the bottom, and I'll get a new copy, but as long as we mention it, I would like to, during the first reading, I think it'll be okay. Deputy coroners are 3. That's supposed to be 2.
Exactly.
We're only budgeted for 2 deputy coroners, and we only have 2. I don't know why. My incapable brain put 3, but we'll bring that down to 2.
So we'll approve it with that.
With that change.
As long as you have it before they advertise it, there's no problem.
Correct. Correct.
Anyway, I think that's everything.
I think that's it. Olivia, did you get all that?
Anything
One
you
more
said
thing.
other than.
Okay.
you
The
know,
ordinance number's not right. That's on there.
The ordinance number is not correct.
It needs to be 23-230-03, not 01.
Did we get anything right on
That's all right. Got a new mama brain, it's okay.
That problem. I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. You know, I'm just picking on you.
All right, Olivia, I think you've got everything there, correct?
Yes.
All right. Does everybody understand what we're doing here?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, everybody
You looked
good?
right at me, did you?
I did not, well, okay, I did, but I didn't aim to look directly at you. I was
I'm
just,
saying I
He
did.
told me earlier
I was
that
scanning.
he was gonna look at you and make sure you got that.
Yeah, Scott's laughing, so I got that real well.
I'm gonna wear sunglasses so nobody knows who I'm looking at from now on. With that being said, do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion on this?
No.
If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
The 2 Bs.
He looks a lot like me. I can understand why you said that. Number 5, acknowledge the receipt of Logan County Tourist and Convention Commission financial year 23-24 budget. Wow, that was rough to say. Good morning, Dee Dee.
Good morning. I'd like to introduce myself to everybody new in the court. My name's Dee Dee Brown. I'm the Executive Director of Logan County Tourism. I've been in my job for 10 years now, and we get a 3% transient room tax from the county, what the county collects on our behalf from the hotels, motels, bed and breakfast, and campsites all around the county. Right now, we've got, I think, 125 nightly rentals available in the county, and we have 52 campsite spaces available. That's like per each place that rents them has that many, so. Anyway, so I brought our budget and just want to introduce myself to the new people in the court and to say, you know, we meet the fourth Friday of each month, typically at noon, downstairs in my office. If anybody has any suggestions or recommendations, we're always glad to hear from anybody, so.
You live in District 1?
I do live in District 1. We try hard to work for the county. We've got, unfortunately, we're going back down in amounts of money because we're running out of our ARPA funds and our EDA money, so we're going back to our pre-COVID numbers.
Do you get, you might have just said it, but do you get transient room income off of Airbnbs?
Yes,
okay.
But right now there's a little bit of a issue with Airbnb not wanting to pay. They agreed to pay, there was a law passed, and now they're bucking everyone. So there's a battle going on.
So you've got 125 hotel rooms.
Well, that counts like, you know, B&Bs. If there's a B&B that has, well, only one person can rent the house out, then that counts as one. But let's say they can rent out to multiple people at a time and they have a breakfast for the people, then that would be like 3 or 4, whatever. So, and then there's like Shady Cliff, and we've got 3 hotels here in town as well, so.
Well, I noticed you had 0 from State Fair. What happened there? I mean, did they used to give you money and?
No, we used to go to State Fair, but just as time passed by, it got more and more expensive to go, and we were spending about $5,000 to go. At COVID, we quit going, and it just seemed like it was harder to find volunteers after that, get people, you know, we'd have elderly people go mostly that would volunteer to go spend the day or spend the night, and it just got very costly, and we just have paused on going for the time being.
That was one of your budget cuts?
Yes, that was one of our budget cuts. One thing we are doing now that you'll be seeing, our first Logan County wayfinding sign was installed the other day. We have 25 of those that are going up. We've been working closely with Joe Plunk at the state on those, and Gerald Printing is installing them for us. So that's what our big bulk of our big ARPA grant money is going for. We're also a part of some multi-jurisdictional ARPA projects with tourism. We're doing a barbecue trail, a faith trail, a wine trail, and we're very involved in our region as well, so we're taking part with them in that ARPA money as well. So anyway, we're going back down to numbers like we had before COVID. COVID really hit us hard. We had a budget of $39,000 that first year, and the court was very supportive of us during that time, and then we got the ARPA like everybody else, but that's going away, so we're back down to reality. So, but we're always glad for suggestions, anything we can ever do to help, please let us know. I'd also like to thank the court while I'm up here just for your help with the fair and with the Tobacco Festival. I'm a part of, you know, both of those things heavily, and we very much appreciate everything you all have done. So.
Thank you for what you do, and I make a motion to acknowledge the receipt of this fiscal year budget.
Second that.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion or any other questions for Dee Dee?
Thank you.
If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Dee Dee. Next up is discuss the annual contribution for the 36th Annual Emancipation Celebration. I think last year we gave $200, is that correct? I don't know what else we need to discuss. There's a letter in there in your on your iPads.
So that's what we put in the budget for this time too. Make a motion to approve the annual contribution of the 36th Annual Emancipation Celebration for a total of $200 as budgeted.
I second that too.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, is it, I just want to, is that specifically, is that under just a broad thing in the budget?
Under festivals and celebrations, I think, on the budget.
It's like we give the parades and stuff.
We get the same amount to like
Lewisburg Parade.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if it was itemized or just broad.
Which ones are itemized, different parades, different,
No, I just didn't know, I didn't recall how it was listed in the budget, whether it was specific or just a pot.
one big pot,
Right.
pulling it out in one big pot.
I have a motion and I have a second. If no further discussion, roll call.
Davenport.
Yes.
Goodwin.
Yes.
Wilcutt.
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Number 7, approve the resolution authorizing Judge Phil Baker to sign any financial documentation needed for the Russellville Logan County Airport Board to secure financing for the new hangar.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Not, roll call.
Davenport.
Yes.
Goodwin.
Yes.
Wilcutt.
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. With that being said, there's no more new business. We have no reason to go into executive session that I know of. Is there anything for the post agenda?
I got a couple things.
Yes. Jason?
Like 4 or 5. No, the road department's needing a snow plow. And
Absolutely.
It kind of coincidentally, there's a man in town that's got one off of a truck that he had bought from another government entity, and it's exactly what we need, and he wants $4,000 for it, and it's basically new. I don't know that it's ever set down in the snow.
Yeah.
It's Phil Stokes Motors down there is who has it, and so I don't know how we need to go about purchasing it, but it's way below market price, and
Right.
we can get quotes, but it's only $4,000. So
Wow.
What is our limits now, Amanda? Is it 5,000?
It's 5,000. So
I think the judge should be able to get quotes.
yeah, I can get a couple of extra quotes if we need to, but with it being 4,000, Jason, Thomas, and myself have went and looked at it. Everything's there, and as Jason said, it doesn't look like it's ever touched the snow other than what it may have fallen on it. Everything's there. Hydraulic, the bracket, everything is there.
You can make a motion to approve that the judge purchase one up to $4,000.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I make a motion to allow the judge to purchase a snow plow up to $4,000
Yes, we'll get quotes.
and get quotes.
Got it.
Second.
Oh, absolutely, that's fabulous.
Okay.
Thank
You get that,
you.
Olivia?
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right. I have a motion and I have a second. Is there any other discussion on this? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport.
Yes.
Goodwin.
Yes.
Wilcutt.
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Thank you for that.
The second thing is this Kids on the Block deal. I hadn't had peace about it since they left, yeah, and I don't know if we, if we're able to give them the $900.
I was gonna actually ask the question when Ann said we approved to give money to that.
Brackett.
Yeah. So like, did that money come out of a pot or was that a specific?
I think that was budgeted, wasn't it?
But yearly, you all budget specific entities to
Right.
give money to, and usually keep that about the same unless they ask for it. So them being new, it wouldn't be specifically budgeted, but I
Right.
guess you could, we could probably come up with $900
Yeah,
somewhere if you
we
wanted
can.
to do that.
Amanda says she can find it. If not, she'll write a check personally for it.
We would have to pull it from something, but
That's the stop.
I feel like if there's any way possible, I would like to.
I'd second it. You just tell where you don't have it on paper.
I think Amanda said. I think
Exactly
we'll find it. Yeah,
So they.
Judge can find it?
All right.
I'm okay with it.
Well, I'll put it in the form of a motion that we support the Kids on the Block and give them $900 for the 2 programs that they asked to add.
I second that.
Okay. Did you get that, Olivia? Okay, just making sure. I have a motion and a second, and I just want it to be known that's hard to say Kids on the Block without adding the word "new" in front of it.
We were just saying that.
That's Phil's favorite band.
That's that band I grew up with. It's my second favorite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, second.
Thought you had a t-shirt.
Well, that could be true.
Pretty sure this group was around first.
Possibly, I'm not sure. That goes back to the 80s.
I would much rather, I ain't gonna say that.
All right.
Yeah, I would much rather watch them than the new Kids on the Block.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport.
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And
Is
to
there,
make necessary budget transfers to figure it out.
good. Is there any other, is there anything else left on post agenda? If not, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it. Oh, Chris.
Chris has got it, and I think Tyler's second. All in favor, stand up and walk out. All opposed, sit here for a while.